make sure that the seeds you plant are good seeds. Because the seeds will grow, whether you want them to or not. We know that the primary way that human beings learn is not by what we teach them, but what we show them, by observation. So if you want your child to grow up to be respectful, you best be respectful yourself to others, or they're not going to be respectful when they grow up. If you want your child to be honest and a person who's willing to face up to their problems or their issues and confront them honestly, then you best not be evasive about your own, because you're planting seeds in every choice you make. If you want someone to be your friend, be friendly. You know, it's simple, but so hard. When you meet someone with a smile on your face and an open spirit, chances are real good that they're not going to put their walls of defense up. But if the look on your face and the feeling in your heart is one of, I'm ready for battle, guess what? People can sense that. What happens? Naturally, they get their defenses up. To sow good seed is to understand that every choice we make does matter. I believe that a lot of the Bible is descriptive rather than prescriptive. I think I talked about this with you all before, but you know what a prescription is. That's, you're sick, you have a fever, you go to your doctor, says, I'm going to send you to the pharmacist, get a Z-Pack, right? Hopefully it'll knock your fever out. And what he's saying is, I've prescribed something that should help you. On the other hand, description is like, I look at Giant this morning and I say, nice suit. He's wearing a gray button-down shirt and a blue tie and what do you call that? A crosshatch pattern? Is that what that's called? And was this one of those suits you had made in India from Imperial here? Yeah, I'm describing the suit that he's wearing. That doesn't mean that, I'm saying he should go make a suit like that. I'm just saying that's why he's got on. I think a lot of the Bible we take for prescription when it's description. And I think that's one of the reasons we get confused sometimes. And this whole point of sowing good seed is directly related to one of the most profound descriptions of the Bible. It says you reap what you sow. That means that there are unintended natural consequences from the actions, the choices that you make. And so if you want to reap joy and peace, you have to sow joy and peace. You have to go with an open spirit, ready to not enter into battle with your enemies, but rather to embrace them. If you sow good seed through countless tiny acts, like a mustard seed, the reward will be an enriching life. That's what God intends for you. I can still remember when I was a youngish, 28, 29 years old, and I discovered quantum physics. And I discovered process philosophy. And you don't have to know anything about either one of them except this. The thing that process philosophy and quantum physics taught me, convinced me of, is that there is no inconsequential act ever. The butterfly effect. Now, you know how this works and that person says something to someone else with no intention it ever get out. And that person says, oh, I've got to unburden myself. I've got to talk to my best friend. I know she won't say anything to anyone else. And before you know it, everybody knows. And you say to yourself, how did that happen? You lapped your lips. In, was it World War I or World War II? You'll have to help me out here, Lily. The motto, loose lips sink ships. Which war was it? I think it was one, yes. Loose lips sink ships. And even today, one of the things Joan deals with in her work with military families is how so often the spouses and families, they can't even know exactly where their loved ones are deployed, because if they knew something and they said something without realizing what they were saying to the wrong person, lives could be lost. But what we don't realize is lives are lost every day in the church and in the community. Maybe not literally, but reputations are lost because of unintended consequences of small acts. Little seeds we sowed without even realizing what we were doing. And when I read about and I grasped this concept, then I realized that really nothing we do is inconsequential. Everything matters. Everything. And that's both good news and bad news. It's good news because little things can make a tremendous difference for good in the world. Being willing to, as a Christian, a self-identified Christian, be open and willing to talk with your Muslim neighbor or your Hindu friend, or, let's be really controversial. Jehovah's Witness friend? Your Mormon friend? Your atheist co-worker? And being respectful while you share what you believe in a non-offensive way. When that happens, sometimes people say, and they think about it. On the other hand, if you approach them the wrong way, they're just more convinced than ever that those Christians talk love, but they don't know how to live love. Jesus didn't automatically exclude anyone. That's the hard part. Understanding that the little choices we make, and I mean little, you go into a restaurant, and you're being seated next to someone, and for whatever reason, you may not even realize it. You say, oh, I don't want to sit there, I want to sit over there. What did they think? Did you move because you saw something wrong with them? You know? Gotta pay attention to the choices you make. And that's so important for the church today. Do you know that we live in a time that is more like first century Christianity than any time in the last 2,000 years?